Yo, what's up everybody? It's Connor from Unscripted, back with another video. In today's video, we are talking about some statistics and a little bit of news heading into tomorrow's Major 3, and as always, we're doing things off the script. Before we hop into the video, as always, don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoy. Leave a comment as well with your thoughts on what we talk about today, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the content and looking for more of it. I appreciate it all, it means a lot to me, and let's hop right into the video. So, here on screen is the schedule for the matches this week. Hopefully you can see them. It looks like it's kind of blurry. I think you should be able to see it though. But anyway, tomorrow we have the losers bracket round 1 and the winners bracket round 1. So we have the European teams, London versus Paris kicking us off. We have LAG versus Seattle. We have FaZe versus Dallas, and we have Florida versus LA Thieves. So it's not a predictions video, but I will give mine really quick. I unfortunately think London takes that first one. I like Paris. I wish they would do well. I like the players, but I don't see it with them. They're really struggling. London getting better, so I will take London. LAG versus Seattle. Call me crazy, but I actually will take Seattle in that one. I don't know why. Just maybe a feeling, a hunch. I think their ceiling is higher than LAG's is. It just kind of depends. You know, their floor also is lower, as we have seen. We've seen a lot more of their floor than their ceiling lately, but I do think they'll get this win here. I'm not really sure why, but it's just a feeling I have. I think FaZe come out and they take care of Dallas pretty easily. Smoke them there. And then the bottom match, a lot of people are high on LA Thieves, but I actually am going to take Florida in that one. I am high on Florida, a lot higher than most are. I think they're finally playing the way I expected them to play coming into the year. They still need to be more consistent. There's no doubt about that. When they're at their best, they're very good, but they also have some lows. Their lows are very low, so hopefully they can get going and keep up the momentum. They did secure the 2 seed in Group A, so they clearly played pretty well throughout the stage, and hopefully they can keep that going for their sake. I think they will beat the LA Thieves. I thought this was actually very interesting, though. We have the betting odds to win the major. And as you see, so this is in the European system, I think, the decimal. So I'm not 100% sure how it works. But basically, I think this means plus 150. Or 1.5 to 1, basically, for the Atlanta FaZe. So $100 bet wins you 150, pays out 250. I think that's how it works. But anyway, they are pretty considerable favorites in this one. I mean, they're much bigger favorites than Toronto are, which surprises me. You know, I made the other video talking about some storylines heading into this major, and I was just thinking or talking about how it seems like these top 3 teams are pretty even, and I thought, I said in the video, I think the odds should be pretty close, and I could see any of those 3 being the favorites. Now, they are the top 3 favorites, and by a good bit. You know, New York is 3rd, and they are twice as good, twice as likely to win as the LA Thieves, so it's definitely, those are clearly the top 3 according to the odds, but I'm pretty surprised FaZe is that far ahead of Toronto. I really am. I did think of those 3, New York would probably be number 3 if I had to rank them in terms of most likely to win. But I would have Toronto at first. And even if I had them at second, which I totally see an argument for, I do not think it's by this big of a margin whatsoever. So just looking at the odds, I really think that's the best value play for sure, Toronto. I don't really see any other value play that catches my eye more than that. Yeah, I guess that's plus 300 for Toronto is very good odds to me. Moving down, we can see some of the others. LA Thieves, I think that's bad odds. I don't see them winning this. I think they should be. I'd probably have them behind a couple of these teams, Dallas and Florida, maybe. Honestly, I don't know though. I'm not as high on them as most. I don't know why. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I don't know. Dallas, Florida, Optic being that far ahead of Rocker is a little bit surprising to me, just because Optic has been so bad in the respawns. London, LAG, Paris, and of course Seattle at the bottom. Actually, they're tied with Paris. So Seattle, I'm sorry. Not in the basement. They are tied for being in the basement. So they're, I guess, moving up in the world. Or else somebody moved down. I guess that's how we'd say it. But those are the odds. Definitely interesting to me that FaZe was that big of a favorite over Toronto. It just caught my attention, so I wanted to talk about it. Now we move on. And hopefully this does not make a lot of sound. Okay, it didn't. So we have the team of the week was announced. The head of the major. This was the team of I guess it was the Dallas home series. It was Hydra. It was Skies. It was Arcides. And it was Abizi, I believe. I don't know why it's not showing it. I thought it showed at the beginning, but I'm pretty sure it was those 4. The big one to me, I think, was Skies, just because he kind of flew under the radar a little bit, and he has been playing much better for Florida, and it's no coincidence or surprise that he picked it up and they picked it up. He is sort of, I think, the X factor for them. Awakening, you pretty much know what you're going to get. Pretty high ceiling. I mean, he's consistent in search. He's really good. Neptune is getting more consistent when he's at his best. He's a pretty good player. Havoc, he's consistent. He's not that good in my opinion, but at least he's consistent. You know what you're going to get. And Skies has sort of been the one that's been a little bit of a roller coaster this year. So when he's playing well, I think that will do good things for them. I still wish they dump Havoc and go elsewhere. I don't think they're going to, at least not yet, especially after getting the 2 seed in their group. But that's how I feel about that. Not surprised to see Skies leading the way. Arcides, no surprise seeing him on there after he struggled to start the stage. He really picked it up big time. I mean, I think he's probably one of the top players from the entire group stage of stage 3. I don't think he's number 1, but I think he's surely up there. Abizi, same with him. And then who was the last one? I forget. Hydra, yeah, of course Hydra. I mean, the guy in the respawns has just been on fire lately. I mean, they have not lost a hard point since he has joined the team, so he's been phenomenal, and they are looking really good heading into this major. So that's the team of the week this week, and I'm excited to see who it is from the major. I always like when they reveal that. Now, we're going to hop into some stats. Here's the first one, making sure you can see it. So it's the Elo ratings, which Elo, I'm not going to lie, I don't fully understand, but I'm pretty sure it's sort of based on... I can't go any lower. Okay, you can't see Seattle, but they're last. But Elo is sort of based on how you're doing now and also how you've done in the past, so a little bit of both. And I guess sort of how I would think of it is it's sort of measures how you're performing based on your expectations. So like Atlanta FaZe, which is crazy to me, their Elo actually dropped despite going 4-1 in the group stage. That's how high, that's how high their expectations are. That's how good they have to be to maintain their Elo. Toronto did finally pass them, moving into number 1. Really bad stage for Dallas in terms of this, which they went 3-2, so I guess it's just because maybe map counts involved, or I know it depends who you lose to, so if you lose to a worse team, it drops you worse than if you lose to a good team. Like I said, it sort of has to do with your expectations. So they fell. Optic fell pretty far. Paris fell really far. They had a really bad stage. It was ugly for them. And then Seattle, you can't see down there for some reason, but they also were minus 53. So the biggest loser was Dallas, followed by Seattle, then Florida, then Optic. The big gainer, Toronto and New York were the 2 big gainers. No surprise there. LA Thieves, a big gainer too. Also not a surprise. Those 3 teams really played well throughout the stage. Toronto lost 1 map in the entire group stage, so no surprise to see those guys take over the number 1 spot. Not at all. Another stat, the S&D, Search and Destroy trade percentage of pairs. So basically what pairs trade out their teammates the most. And you see here, I thought this was really interesting, just because ASIM being traded out by Mac is so high, like 4.5% higher than the next closest duo. That's really surprising to me. Basically, this is the top 10, and number 2 is as close to number 1 as number 10 is to number 2. So that's how sort of above everybody else that duo of ASIM and Mac is. I wonder if they'll start playing a little bit better in Search. I mean, they haven't been bad by any means, but they should pick it up a little bit. They're definitely behind Toronto and FaZe at the very least, maybe a couple other teams. So as a team, we'll see if they can, have the success, but at least Mac trading out the kills well. 2 duos that are on here. I think there's 2 duos on here, like both ways. Assault and Silly. Silly trading out Assault, and then also Assault trading out Silly. And Bance and Kleenex both on there together as well. So 2 duos who play well together, and they sort of are holding hands all the time. And then on top of this was really interesting, I thought. One more fun fact, that BZ has actually traded out a higher percentage of Simp's deaths than Simp has traded out of BZ's deaths, because everybody thinks about how Abizi's the entry sub. He's the guy who's running in there guns blazing first, and he is getting a kill and dying, it seems like a lot of times. He gets first blood, dies, Simp trades him out, cleans it up, and they have a man advantage. But the stats don't actually back that up. The stats say that Simp is the one not dying more, but being traded out by Abizi more. So when those 2 are playing together, it seems like Simp is the one going down, and Abizi is the one getting the kill. Not what I would have expected at all. I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect that, so that was definitely surprising to me, and I just thought that was pretty interesting. And finally, we have this stat. In Stage 3 so far, Raid Hardpoint has been played 6 times. In all 6 games, the winner started on good side. So basically the team that picked the map, they lose every single time in Stage 3 because they pick the map, then the other team gets to pick the side they start on. But this mostly caught my attention because it's not really talked about the way, it's like Apocalypse, for example. People always talk about how good side is such an advantage, despite the fact that the numbers don't show that at all. The numbers show that the team that starts on good side with the P2 spawns, they actually lose more often than they win. So the numbers don't back that up, but Raid is one of those maps that's talked about a lot as like a great hardpoint map. It plays really well, it's fun to watch. But in Stage 3, I mean, it was predictable. Basically, if you started with the garage side spawns, or no, I'm sorry, the other side. I always get those 2 confused. Garage is P3. So if you start with the jungle spawns, you won the map every single time in Stage 3. And you can see it right there. Look at the P2 discrepancy. So on average, the winner of a map scored 78 points on P2, and the loser scored 22. So that shows how powerful that advantage actually is. And then even, I mean, this just shows rotation, basically, that they're also, that same side is winning P3 points because it's on the opposite side of the map. But still, that huge discrepancy, in P2 is like, that's mind-boggling to me. It's never talked about at all, but it really shows how this map is maybe not quite as balanced as it seems to think, as people seem to think it is, and it's less balanced than Apocalypse, which you really wouldn't expect, and nobody talks about it, but I just thought this was interesting because I wouldn't have guessed it. I wouldn't have thought that P2 spawns were that hard to break, but it looks like it is. I mean, I know it's an easy hill to hold if you can hold off the first wave of kills, but that rotation from the ring, it can be really hectic with people going jungle and people going pillars, so it can be hectic for sure, and you would have thought that these teams would, they lose some gunfights and not get as many points, not be able to hold spawns, but that's not the case. They've been able to hold it very well, so interesting for sure, and I wonder how much maybe teams will stop picking Rage so much. I don't know. I personally love watching it. I know we all do, but maybe teams won't pick it as much because it just shows that the team who has P2 is just way more likely to win, so even if you're really comfortable playing the map, if you start on bad side, the stats don't really look in your favor, and maybe you should avoid it, so interesting stat for sure. I just thought I'd share that with you. That's going to actually wrap up this video, though. So if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like down below. Leave a comment as well with some of your thoughts on the stats we talked about, some of your predictions for the major. I'd love to hear that, all of that stuff. I'd love to have a discussion with you, so let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel as well if you enjoyed the video and you're looking for more videos like it. It would mean a lot to me. I appreciate it all. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you had a good day today, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.